Start with pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call. Here. Here. Here.
Here.
Here. Public meeting participation rules. 1, please wait for the chair to acknowledge you before you speak. 2, begin by stating your name and address. 3, give us your comments, opinions, or questions on the issue being discussed. 4, to ensure everyone has time to speak and that we can address other items on the agenda, we may limit an individual speaking time to 5 minutes. If time permits, we may allow one additional time period to provide new information. 5, be respectful of planning commission, applicant, and your neighbors. Thank you for attending. Tom Hilbert, Chair. Okay, adoption of agenda.
I support.
All support. Dylan, Larry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Okay, approval of minutes, April 10th, 2023.
I support.
Dylan. All support. And Larry again. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. Approved. Okay, public comment. If anybody has comments in general about different items than cases, now would be the time to do that. But if the comment is about a case, it's probably better to do it when we're addressing that case. So I don't know, anybody online? No, okay. Go ahead.
Permit for A&L
That's the case, yes.
already doing cars. They did it since they moved in there. We were told when that place went in that they were only going to be using forklifts back there. They're back there with cranes and everything now. They're even back there on Sunday at 9 o'clock in the evening.
Okay. That's what one of our cases is tonight.
And they do that, and I'm constantly picking up garbage from that place too. We asked them to go and pick up garbage. They went and picked it up one time and then did it again.
We're gonna wait
until
the case comes up.
You pay and get rid of all that. Then he asked the owner to put up a privacy fence there to keep garbage and stuff out, and he wants us to pay for half of the fence, and I don't think that we should have to pay for half the fence to keep people off our property and garbage and stuff. And another thing, they won't do any dust control back there either.
And we were gonna address all that as part of the case, but I guess you don't want to wait, right? Well, they're the first case, so I mean, correspondence, reports 0323 and 0423 by Rick Duell. And workshop June 6th, 2023, Oscoda, an email regarding case P-03-23 by K. Struzik. We will need a motion to.
I make a motion to file.
Well, Joanne and Larry, yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, public hearing. Case number P-03-23, A&L Iron and Metal requests a special approval use for dismantling, wrecking and disposing of junk vehicles. Property is located at 2430 Long Lake Road. parcel number 012-015-000-155-00 in a light manufacturing M1 zone district. Okay, we need a motion to open the hearing.
I make a motion to open hearing.
I'll support. Carried, Corey supports, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, will, the committee can, I guess, address the board if you're.
Brian Miller with A&L Iron and Metal. Got Jay Harding and Glenn Higley, both with A&L as well. So we have had state licensing since A&L has owned that property, which entails purchasing vehicles. You're supposed to renew that every year. And this year, we missed the time frame. I missed the time frame. So we had to reapply and fill out a new application. And with the new application is the zoning and planning approval. So that's kind of what brought us to this point today.
So Nathan Skippy, supervisor. This all stemmed from contact by management through A&L. I went back into the previously exhibited case that came before the planning commission. Pulled that file. It actually was not A&L at that point in time. I believe it was B&M. K&M. Obviously, K&M transferred upon sale, transferred that. The issue that really kind of arose was looking to have this license renewed, realized that I found no records of that process even taking place. So here we are this evening. They're willing to do what they need to do to basically get signatures on the state licensures. I believe it's for license class A, C, and F. Yeah, I couldn't remember off the top. Which goes to, I don't know what happened in the past either. But the reality is this planning commission has the opportunity to look at this case, make a sound decision. Obviously, there's pros and cons to this kind of operation. We've just heard some, and I'm sure that we will hear the nearest neighboring concern. I ask you to take that into consideration, but this planning commission is well versed. So stipulations being what they are, there were through correspondence, there was the opportunity with some of the forecasted deficiencies from Rick Dool's report. An email was then sent back out. I made sure that Lynn got that to all members to see that a vast majority of the questions that were deficient in the report were answered. So that's what led us here today. Again, I don't know what happened in the past, but today's a new day. There is inherent value to these kind of operations, and there are downsides. So our zoning actually puts in place and through stipulations, you can correct some of the errors of the past that seem to be some of the issues of the nearest neighbor. So that moving forward, things are operated in the most appropriate manner. So.
Yes, do we ever have a copy of it?
I'll take care of it.
I have the one from this.
Brian Miller.
This is the one from A&L, right? Yes. Everybody have this?
So.
Okay,
I got
Just-
it.
okay. So do we need to? Okay, so do we need to make a part of the,
Are these multiple copies? Or just one? Okay, all right.
it's in response to some of Rick's stuff, right? Yeah. Okay, what was the license you're saying you're,
It's a state dealer's license.
oh, state dealer's license?
Scrappy vehicles.
I guess just revisiting some of her concerns, are there stipulations on when you can and cannot operate?
We're open Monday through Friday, 8 until 5.
Mhm.
We are not in there on the weekends.
Mhm. Pardon?
Yeah, we're not open on the weekends.
If she would just get a copy of that, because
He's gone.
I think Nathan went to do that.
You know, it looks like you are in the process of putting a taller privacy fence up to help stop the blowing of trash and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if blowing a trash, but just for more of a privacy and buffer, I think is probably more of a thing that everybody's probably thinking would work better.
Like originally it was, said the 8-foot berm or fence. I think with the berm and the fence gets you to the 8 foot, it's a 6-foot fence on like a 3-foot berm. So I think we always thought that height was fine, but if there's additional, structure we need to add time to open. That
And we've got
I got both, so I'm going to do that.
Don't stand.
Have something else to say?
Yeah, she's, yeah, we're gonna,
Especially during summer months.
Mhm.
Some monthly, you're gonna have a contract to Brian the yard, it says.
as part of the performance standards, or an operation like this, and that is, things we'll need to address with the applicant are, and you should all have a copy of that,
Yes.
versus smoke, dust, dirt, fly ash.
For the brand and the yard, we're gonna do the eliminate the dust.
We propose to do that once a month, I think.
Yes. Okay, and then I was there today and the road is, was there any improvements gonna be made to the road, or is it just gonna remain like it is?
The entrance.
Yes,
But our actual.
your actual
our
entrance, yeah,
driveway,
yeah.
It kind of, I guess what we propose, are you talking this from the bumpiness or the gravel? What do you?
Well, there's really not much for gravel there, it didn't appear to me, but,
Yeah, we can add
it's,
gravel.
very,
Yeah, we can certainly add gravel and stone to the driveway.
A question for you on the brining, is once a month sufficient? I'm asking if it's sufficient to get the job done, not meeting whatever requirements.
No, I think it's a good starting point. I think there could be months where it might need to be done more than once. If, depending on how dry the weather is. It's all weather dependent for the most part. But once a month is our proposal. If you see it different, let us know.
Yeah.
I guess is a fair statement.
Well, I'd like to hear it. You're the lady that lives in front of,
Yeah, I come back.
you started to say a few things. Did you have something else to say?
Well, another problem that we've been having is people keep hitting our fence too. And we even had them hit our pine tree. And not the branch off. And that's why we want, I don't know, a berm with a fence or something put up there, and something to block them from hitting the fence.
So does your driveway, the pictures I took and what I saw, your driveway actually goes up to their fence?
It's
There's a little grass barrier.
the grass area before the.
Their fence.
Starts there, and then on the opposite side of that, some cedar trees. kind of thing. There's a few feet from where our driveway is, a grass area before there.
There's a picture right there. Yeah, I got it.
There's a picture of on the right side or left side is her residence, and that's the entrance.
But the trees that are there, those are your trees on your side.
Yeah, that hedge, we put that hedge up and it ain't even doing any good now, because the deer eat the bottom of it, so it can dig right through, so we actually would like to take that hedge out of there, because it's just more work right now. But then you see everything, even the stuff out there, I mean, they put that, fence in the back there, to block everything, and the stuff is way above the fence.
I noticed today you have, I think there are a bunch of cars stacked in the back.
No, there's no cars in the yard right
Pardon?
now. There's appliances, tin, that kind of material.
Okay, but they're
Um,
stacked way above the fence.
There is a spot that's above the fence right now, yes.
Yeah, because I was there, I think Friday, and I went by today for something, and
Yep.
I noticed that pile was there, wasn't really that day.
We don't normally like to do that, just because. As business owners, they don't make money until that material is in the gale. So we always want to move that material as fast as we can.
Yeah.
It's that time of year where spring cleanups happen, where it gets a little bit busier.
And that fence along the driveway, that's not 8 foot, that's
No, I think we were talking about.
4, yeah.
We're talking about running, I guess, on the east and west, it's like along the drive. It's a
Right.
Different style, and fence around the property.
Yeah, around the property is.
But that, that's part of your operation too, that.
The drive,
The drive, yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
and
Be addressed there.
we can definitely do that.
so your property goes right to that fence, is that correct? Is that your property and that fence along the driveway, that's yours?
Pine tree.
Okay. Cedar, yeah, okay, all right.
So the trees that I see are nicely trimmed off. The deer did that for you?
Yes.
They did a nice job. Nice and clean and
Yeah,
even.
but green. Nice and black and stuff, and got that bad neighbor in here for even knowing people alone.
So you actually need a privacy fence up there then.
Yeah. We'd like to. With a privacy fence would keep people from hitting our fence, it would also. Probably people out of the garden, getting in our yard. Yeah, I had a garden that gets wrapped around the trees and stuff in our fence.
Where do you actually do your parking at?
Parking for like employee parking or parking?
Just, well, I was in there the other day and I had to drive through small lake to get around because I couldn't get out of my car and pull up on some cement. So I could just go in and ask about it and I was there a long time ago. I had to drop something off and I got paid for it accordingly, but it's kind of hard to get in there. I don't know how people bring stuff in. I says most of your people probably bring it in a carload or truckload or something.
Yeah.
But if there's somebody walking in with a bucket of stuff, I'm sure there's people do that for you too. But where do they park to get in to come do this?
People that have like the buckets and whatnot would go right where you did pull around where that concrete pad is and walk in the big overhead doors is where we accept our non-pairs and inside the building.
Is that part where, call it the big puddle, I think it's in front of your scale? Is that like your driveway to get in there then? Is there something could be done to like eliminate that lake? So that people could get in and out of there, usually our constituents are bringing things in?
Yeah, we could have, every year we do yard improvements, we add rock, gravel, this is just springtime where. You know, it's rainy season, we had a pile of rain last week, and it tends to be the point in the year where things, you know, wash and settle, and then we do yard improvements throughout the summer to fix the holes. Kind of tough to do it until you can see where they all, you know, where they all settle. This time of year, there's a lot of water running, a lot of rain, so things to do a lot of time.
Cause that's the only real way to get in there, is that correct?
Yeah,
Everybody that comes in without the small buckets, that scale that's right next to you, have to scale in to come in.
Yes.
So the main entrance, to answer your question, everybody drives in right over that scale.
If they come in with a load or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But other
yeah,
than that,
everybody comes in with that scale typically. They don't drive around that scale, it's in and out over top of the scale.
And it seems like if that driveway wasn't, and I understand it is spring, but. You know, some of these trailers aren't necessarily, they don't have the stuff fastened down like they probably should, and when they hit those bumps. It might pop out or fall off, and then it ends up in their yard, and. So that, you know, I mean. Being, you know, that's just part of being a good neighbor, I mean, just keeping your stuff. Away from her stuff, you know.
So that would probably go along with, sounds like they're willing to spread some gravel throughout the whole driveway, and that would be leveling and possibly getting rid of that lake. Or whatever at the same time, right?
And what about the fence out to Long Lake Road? That
The fence.
is that
that's
are
her fence.
I know, but. So it's, are you willing to put a fence to,
Yeah, we had talked with Kevin. Yep, I talked with Kevin this summer, and he proposed that they would pay for half the fence and we pay for half the fence. So we got a bid from Sunrise, is it? And got a quote passed along, and I shared it with Kevin, and he said that he would like to wait at this point because didn't have the funds to pay for half the fence. So I just kind of put it on hold. He proposed to pay for half of it. We, you know, we're fine with being forward to put something up there. I just, you know, didn't act any further, so I was waiting to see what we wanted to do.
But we've already put in thousands of dollars in that hedge, and we have replacing our fence and stuff. We don't think we should have to pay for half that fence. Keep people off our property and garbage and everything.
So your husband has changed his mind?
Yeah,
And I didn't know that. I haven't talked to Kevin since.
we not gonna give them one bad, then often work and.
That was the last time we talked to him, was he had to leave town, the other side of town or something.
okay, yeah, and then as part of the email he sent us today, that's mentioned that. He doesn't feel like he should have to pay. Kevin signed this or sent this, that he should have to pay for a fence. Go ahead, go ahead.
I am gonna propose that you put up a fence there, privacy fence all along there and protect that for your friendly neighbor. And I don't know, we'll work on what it's gonna be, but, and also, that driveways, I think should be moved over a little bit. And put some kind of material in there that's like a driveway. I think it's basically sand right now. And it's got a lot of nice holes in it. I'm sure from the trucks coming in the springtime, but I think it could be better placed. And you need some parking designated, maybe outside the fence there, but where folks can park. I think these are things that I'm gonna propose that they be done as part of this agreement. That's kind of getting that area in place. And the other part is, I don't want to see anything go over that fence for storage, because what good is the fence if you can still see it? It's like a privacy fence, so I think that's more than fair. Like when I saw that today, I was actually almost looking over the building, and saw that stuff. And I thought it was cars, but whatever it is. So those are things that I'm gonna propose, and maybe the rest of the board will go along and see what decisions we want to decide on to get those things done.
Nathan, good.
As I know that Mr. Hughes knows, and this planning commission knows, by the ordinance 142, anytime you have commercial activity abutting a residential, there is always a fencing mechanism. And so, I haven't heard anything that isn't, allowable. Although the one consideration would be as, an offenses to, continue towards Long Lake Avenue along the north side of the existing drive. Hardened or not, that's your determination. The only consideration I asked this planning commission to give is, the fact that we have a 33-foot from center, road, commission right away, and then our setback. So you could actually have a decrease in overall elevation. I don't know if it's an 8-foot consideration going outwards, which may appease, the immediate neighbor. Also adding a mesh to the fence would help, impede any other debris from blowing around and circulating, further away from the fence and getting towards the principal fence around the yard. This planning commission can give consideration to, a fence greater than 8 foot, which then may be helpful, to the commercial activity because there are probably fluctuations in the market and stockpiling, and footprints being what they are. Sometimes the only way to, expand is up. So just wanted to add that to your thought process because you can actually go higher with the fence. But one thing that I would ask, and I think would be a betterment to that immediate residential neighborhood, is that we can fix a screen mesh to that fence, which would then impede any blowing debris from there.
The other thing, where do you put your snow at?
The outside of that driveway, they usually leave outside the fence right there, but anything from the fence in, all stays to either side of it, kind of open it up. Inside the fence.
Are you as busy in the winter as you are in the summer? Also, winters are so
Very slow. We go from on average to 5 to 10 customers a day in the winter time, if that, 25 to 50 right now.
Okay, so smoke, dust, brine, dirt, fly ash, and you propose make improvements to the driveway and brining.
Correct.
Okay, drifted, blowing material, which seems to be a problem. I guess
I mean,
if, you know, if stuff is intended for your yard, you know, it's just along the road there, we would expect that you'd, you know, just as being good neighbors, you'd pick it up. Yeah,
for sure.
I mean,
We do have our guys walk.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't want them dumping their trash in on your site. So I'm just as good neighbors. I'm,
Good housekeeping.
yeah.
100%.
Okay, then and if anybody has any more questions, stop me. Okay, part C is open storage. You said we move our inventory daily to shredding operations in Gaylord. The quicker we move this material, the better it is for us. That's what because I know you have a lot of, your piles are quite high right now. So is this a part of the, truck, spring, you know, truck restrictions, or is it just
Busyness.
Just busy right now?
It's kinda
Okay.
busy, they kinda got- Normally we have more of our semis coming over every day to pull that stuff back.
Yeah, April, May is probably the busiest time of the year.
everybody does spring cleanup probably? Okay, then we got glare and radioactive materials, you said we use handheld radiation detectors on all incoming loads that potentially contain radiation. So that's not something that's gonna come in this yard.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Okay, fire and explosive hazards, you have some kind of a safety plan
Procedures,
or?
no,
Yeah.
no sealed units. That's gonna be, you know, explosion issues. Are gonna come in sealed units. We don't allow sealed units, don't buy sealed units.
What about,
Go
you're
ahead.
talking about cars, I'm sorry, Tom. But like, they got oils and they got gas in them and whatever, what about that?
We have a prep station that we put the car on a rack and drain off fluids. The gas. There's a special drill that we have. It's beryllium that gets up in the gas tank. So we can properly drain the gas as well.
So like the transmission, all in fluids and liquids are drained out of the vehicle?
Correct. Yeah.
Batteries are removed and held separate.
And palletized and yes.
Odors, I don't know of,
Skip's got some.
okay, go ahead.
Some of these may actually be better questions to the licenses A, C, and F that are requested. State already has a lot of stipulations. So you may just reference the state stipulations for the licensure within your final determination as well. That would be overstep.
Okay.
I think you guys provide a great service for the community. We're not here to pick your bones, but you do have a neighbor, you got a residential neighbor, and I think that needs to be respected. And I think some areas can be fixed up and made just a little bit taller. So that's where I'm coming from.
Okay, electrical disturbances, you said none of this has ever been a problem.
Yeah, we've never heard anything. I don't know if there has been, we're not aware of it.
And vibration, that's according to your neighbor that they experience vibration.
Other than an excavator or a loader moving inside the yard, we don't use anything that has any vibration. I'm not sure where. Unless, loading a truck, or they use a gravel and they put stuff in the truck, but it doesn't, the tires are taking that. More than that shock, I don't know where the vibration comes from, I'm not sure.
Yeah, within 200 yards also, you have an active quarry.
Yeah.
Specified stone, you're within a quarter of a mile of the western edge of Olson's quarry. All of which have state and federal monitoring in-ground apparatus to monitor vibration. Then you also have Dave Marleski immediately across the street that I never knew a gravel train could go that fast as I was heading to town. Time and spending the day.
Senior or junior?
Okay, then noise, you say 8 to 5 on Monday through Friday. To our knowledge, noise has not been an issue at this location.
It might be 4:30.
Oh,
Okay.
Is there any requirements for lighting? Supervisor Skippy?
For commercial activity, there are, but it would be under the premise of where they would identify parking for ingress and egress, given the considerations. Now, do you have hours during the weekend? Okay, so it's 8 to 5, so they could be affixed to the building. But you'd have to make sure that they have identified within the grounds, parking. So that's a safety mechanism for, parking listing is, exterior. Yes, we do have, it's exterior lighting condition.
Next to the scale, we do have one handicap spot and a regular parking spot. There's 2 parking spots identified.
and then along the driveway, you've got some sort of a parking lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where's those 2 spots, the 3 spots?
Right next to if you're going from the scale to the warehouse, they're right there between the 2.
Then the other parking area is outside the fence on the left.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, on the way in your left. Yeah.
I think some of those questions could be identified with the conversation that's already taken place with the bringing in of stone or hardening the surface, because unfortunately what happens is the continued traffic redistributes a lot of mud to the point where you probably don't even know there's a parking spot until it's cleaned off with a good night. So identifying parking, obviously 188 by there's, I'm trying to remember our ratio of square footage, but there would have to be identified parking and lighting for the parking aspect. So now the consideration is if all employees are outside the fence and parking in that, Now you have to also give consideration to the neighbor because you don't want to have additional lighting, becoming a nuisance, for the neighboring neighboring parcel. So any lighting that would be affixed outside the fence would have to be, properly forecasted to the south side. So that you're not having a spotlight shining where you do the immediate neighbors. Almost.
Yeah.
Well, those are heavy trucks and that driveway is gonna require constant steady maintenance.
Yes, for sure.
Anybody else?
We're gonna make some recommendations though.
Yes, we close the public hearing. Motion to.
I make a motion to close.
Larry, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Well, we have three options to approve the special use for dismantling, wrecking, disposing of junk vehicles. And additional information provided at the public hearing. We have a motion, special use dismantling. And as is, and then we have another motion could be to deny this permit.
I'm willing to make a motion that we approve this, but we have to add all these items that we're talking about in writing. So that we know exactly what these gentlemen are gonna have to do. And just for, I guess I've got a couple things that I'll throw out there is the brining, I think should be done on an as needed basis. And to take and think that that's your house that you're gonna live in. So if it's getting dusty, you're gonna take care of it. And I think the zoning ordinance coordinator would be taking care of this also and maybe checking on things once in a while. We want you as a neighbor. And like I say, you're doing a great service to our community by removing these things and these items. I'd also like to see the fence. It has to be 8 foot high. But I'd say any fence that you put up, I guess if you put it up 10 foot, that nothing can be seen from the outside that's stacked up inside. So if you want to put a 10 foot fence up, I don't have a problem with that. At least it's gonna hide your materials on the inside. And got to get that driveway taken care of. I would recommend it be moved over a little bit, get it away from your neighbor's yard. Get some kind of a surface on there. I don't know what kind of surface this board is gonna want. And put this fence, by the way, I think needs to be barrier type of fence that you can't see and maybe a screening on it so nothing can blow through it. And that fence will be taken care of by you folks. Was one other thing I had here. You're gonna take care of the parking, and that'd be nice if we could see where that handicap was, because I was, when I drove in there, I was looking for a solid spot to get out, so I didn't have to walk through a bunch of mud and stuff.
On the other side of the scale.
Pardon?
You go up and over the scale, on the other side of the scale, to the warehouse.
But the warehouse is to the right.
Yep.
That's where I went. I parked down there. I finally found some cement that I could see and get out, come and walk in, so. But I was looking for a dry spot that didn't have much stuff on it, and I found a hole there that I could pull in. And driveway. I think I cut some of the things that I got. Anybody else have anything?
The operating hours,
8 to 5.
Monday through Friday.
yes,
Mhm.
that's what he's got here on his email, so.
Yes.
Then I will support what Marm has proposed.
I think we need to get some specifics on these.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, all right. Ma'am, do you feel like we're covering all of your main concerns?
Yeah.
So how tall is, okay, I'm sorry. How tall is the fence by
It appears to be about 8 foot.
that you're recommending
Oh,
along the?
the one they
back?
have there is about 8 foot right now, so that, that's,
No, I'm saying along the driveway.
I don't know.
Where they're,
I'm not, I didn't recommend anything, at least 8.
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
For the privacy fence along with the drive.
Mhm. That's what I was wondering, how high you wanted.
And if, it's a 8 foot solid fence, some kind of a landscaping fence, I mean, kind of, this is a. It could use a coat of paint, but it's probably in its stay was decent fence.
Mhm. Yeah, seemed okay.
But then a lot of anything that might bounce off wouldn't end up in their yard.
Mhm.
What about the fence? I guess that would be runs north and south on the back side of your neighbor's property, the butt steers. That would be done the same way, I would assume.
That's already have existing.
Yeah. That's this one, Mark.
That runs all along the woods.
Yeah, that's on the back, I call it the back side of their house.
Long, I'd say, if Long Lake Road goes north and south, this one goes north and south.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They're gonna make concern.
Yeah.
That's going east of us.
Yeah, well, and some repair to this fence, it's been there a long time, obviously.
But that's gonna need to be whatever, what the side one has to be.
Yeah, this appears to be 8 foot, and if that's sufficient.
So it's, at least you have the same look from their view of it, they have the same look.
That's already there.
And I'm the the road, the driveway is well, I would think you'd need at least 6 inches of some kind of stone in there to because those trucks are well, and limestone, one thing nice about limestone is it disintegrates some, and when it gets wet, it gets very hard, so.
That's what we like to do. Line.
Yeah.
23 acres, better, 23 acres.
And with the combination of that and parking lot or some definition of a parking lot there for the employees or customers or whoever.
What are we gonna recommend for a surface?
I just said at least 6 inches of road gravel. 23A, whatever, that's what MDOT always called it, 23A, and I'm sure that specification zone has piles of that.
Would you bring that right on in your yard past that scale too, up in there too?
We did actually last week.
Yeah.
You mean there's 6 inches of stone under it?
One that's in last week, and then all we started doing last week. A lot of that.
Okay, cause I was in there and it was a big, but
Yeah, you would never thought. It basically wiped that entire load out.
so if that happened, have you folks put stone in there before or gravel?
Lots, yeah, lots. I mean, not necessarily in the, I would say it's all in the driveway area. I mean, every 100% we went there today, and it's, yeah, it's way washed out. I mean, if you crown to it, which it doesn't have, you get water and shit, so you're not.
Mhm.
So what would be the issue for asking for a hard surface on there?
Like asphalt,
Yeah, yes, pardon me, excuse me.
cost and semi trucks, I mean. We got a lot of semi trucks going in and turning in and out of them. We're passing it a lot, especially with heat.
It would fail quicker than limestone. If a hardened surface were to be considered, then you're looking at pouring massive slabs of concrete.
Oh, okay.
And we don't,
Or stone.
I don't believe the township has any like MDOT standard for like curb and gutter or anything like that.
No, there's no storm water. We just have, in our ordinance, we have, private road construction standards, which, meets the same as Alpena County Road Commission.
Yeah.
So. But I can do quarterly reviews for the next couple of years to make sure that whatever stipulations that this, commission places up on A&L, that they are, meeting that standard.
Anything else? Okay, what do we have, Lynn?
Norm made a motion, we to grant the case following condition. Maybe, I'm not sure how to word all that, with a lengthy conversation, but, Brian, 8 to 10 foot fence, barrier, screening, between neighbor. Move the driveway over, maintain surface coverage and request parking. And then supported by the code.
Operating hours, they stated operating hours are Monday through Friday, 8 AM to 5 PM.
Anything about Brian?
Yes,
That'll go in there. Yep.
Is that right?
yes.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
I'm not sure. Be more specific. Or-
Is,
I think you need to be very specific. The one thing that we've seen in cases is spell it out. So what fences are existing are 8 foot surrounding the principal yard. I believe this commission is looking at expanding at least an 8 foot barrier east-west along the principal drive. The movement of the driveway may not be a plausible approach, given, I don't know, that would be upon them. I can have that consideration and discussion with them. But define where you're increasing the fence, where it doesn't exist. I'd also ask that within the minutes, a stipulation are quarterly reviews, and that way I can continue just to say, if something does happen, if life does happen, hey, we need a little bit more time to hit this baseline and benchmark. Then you do so, but spell it out.
so an 8 foot,
Oh, like 8 to 10 foot, so you guys.
8 to 10 foot, 9 to 8 foot.
East.
8 to 10 foot solid fence
Solid with mesh.
to match, do we want it something that matches? Something similar,
Dog ear fences, something that we currently use.
Mesh.
Is there a certain distance that we need to stop? the fence
58
before
foot
the road?
58 foot from
Center road?
Yeah. So you have a 25 foot setback plus the 33 foot from center. So 58 foot. I'll be in communication as well, that's for.
So monthly grinding
as-
as
that's
needed.
needed.
Um, Eight to 10 solid and mesh, or you want to say just kind of chain link and mesh, what do you say?
I would say privacy.
I would say solid.
Yeah.
Solid privacy.
Yeah.
That way you don't have the neighbors.
Solid and mesh.
Solid.
Just solid privacy.
Solid,
Solid privacy.
there you go.
Okay, so each step of solid privacy fence running east west along Principal Drive, monthly grind as needed. Quarterly reviews by the zoning administrator. Maintaining.
The existing fence, I don't know, I guess I don't care what it looks like from on your side of the fence, but on their side of the fence, it should be. It needs to be painted, yes.
Yeah.
Or painted and repaired, I didn't, I didn't get out and look at the fence, but if it's in repair. Kevin will know if it needs to be repaired or not when he looks at it.
These are things like.
See, no problem.
what do you got down for the driveway, Lynn?
Road, yeah. And maintain gravel drive,
I would at least 6 inches of,
like just right now.
Road. yeah, 6 inches of, road gravel,
Okay, so maintain
graded
gravel
and
drive,
compacted,
Gravel.
yeah.
The drive and the entire area.
But they're gonna have to pick a width of the road, I mean, it's gotta be 2 lanes wide, so I would say 30 feet would probably be a good number because.
So maintain driveway and add 6 inches of gravel. Or you want to 15 more
About
of gravel?
30 feet width. And then, the parking, improve the parking area.
And then maintain parking. Is that about right?
Yes,
Designated parking area.
there, yeah,
You want them to add parking or is the one handicap, one regular?
I guess that just depends on, if you have 10 workers, what do you have to have? One spot, or I don't know, you know, the first,
Probably you're signing or something that's a.
Kevin knows those numbers, right?
Homes for parking spots.
How many, Bruce? If you got 10 parking spots, how many handicap? Bruce isn't gonna say.
Well, I know it's 1.5.
Okay,
We're not letting read the.
Sure,
stipulation or
yeah.
State guideline. So I have an 8 to 10 foot solid privacy fence, running east to west along Principal Drive, monthly Brian as needed. Quarterly reviews by the zoning administrator. Maintain driveway and add, 6 inches of gravel. What's it be, 30-foot driveway,
Mhm.
30-foot wide driveway. Operating hours would be 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. Maintain parking, for handicap parking. I'm sorry, I reword that, maintain parking with one handicap and regular. You want me to specify if it's handicap and regular? Or just maintain parking area?
Maintain parking area, because I think they're responsible to meet the, yeah. That's good.
Do you want to add anything else?
Just that drive is 6 inches of,
Add,
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
maintain
That's good.
driveway And add, 6 inches of gravel, 30-foot wide. Right, 30-foot wide, you want to say maintain 30-foot wide driveway and add 6 inches of additional gravel. Perfect.
yes, because there's none there right now. That something you can enforce, you and Kevin can enforce, Nathan, okay.
We can make sure that it's to the point.
Got me to roll up over on that?
Yes.
Do you need a second?
Oh, we need a second, we need a second. Oh, Corey second. All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Harry,
Yes,
Tom,
Yes,
Lynn? Yes. Nora?
Yes.
That would be it. And we'll do that. Yeah, she did it, with her, everyone after, right?
the one if you have to go to a baseball game.
You got enough for them?
We have yeah,
I can have questions. You can have questions for Kevin, because he drove me.
oh, he drove you, okay.
Well, just, that's fine. It'll be.
You know,
No.
you cover them. That was the thing. That's what the point is.
How do you pronounce your last name? That close enough? Is that Struzek, is that correct? Okay, thank you.
Okay, if you guys, whoever is the signer. You can sign for the applicant and the applicant, and then you can take the applicant's copy and leave us the original. What's that?
Yeah.
You can have that one. Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
thanks for understanding.
And you guys are welcome to stay. And you can learn about, Bruce's business if you want. He had to listen to yours.
588 compliant parking spot.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, new case. Case dash P, number P dash 04-23, Bruce Dietz requests site plan review for medical center. Property is located at 1209 US 23 North, parcel number 012-009-000-932-08 in a general business B2 zone district. We don't need, this is not a public hearing, so I guess, tell us about your project, Bruce. I see you already have it going, so
Doing some site work.
yes.
Bruce Dietz, 430 South State Street. Request to build 6,400 square foot medical building. 1209 US 23 South.
Okay.
Bruce, did you chance see this?
I did.
Okay.
Lynn sent it to me Thursday. I didn't see it till yesterday because it went to my junk mail. So I called Becky Rivard, the engineer, and she said she addressed just about everything on there that the engineer wanted. So,
Figured that'd be the case, but
yeah, whatever you guys want, we're gonna put in. She said the thing that was, a couple of things were on there, wasn't a curb. She said, we'll put a curb in there, curb off of 23. I was not aware that the lighting wasn't on there.
Yeah,
landscaping,
Excuse me.
you're gonna do the landscaping too.
Yes, we will get a landscape plan together. I have not yet, but I'm sure I won't get an occupancy permit until one's submitted.
I think you've done a couple of these before.
What's that?
You've done a couple of these.
Oh,
before,
yeah.
And you've sat in these seats before.
Yes, I have several times.
And
It's a pleasure to have you.
obviously, MDOT, you've got to work with the county road commission who represents MDOT for the driveway.
Becky Rivard is working with MDOT
They
now
are,
for
okay.
the drive, yes.
And,
For the permit,
okay, and I know you knew that, because,
yes.
okay, my only, there's always water problems. Complaints about water problems on Franklin. So,
So we.
how you handle your water is.
We
is important.
internally keep all of our own water. We drain the ditches out in front into the retainage pond between. It's not a detention. It doesn't hold it and release it into the ditch. We actually hold all of our water on site. There's a trench that goes between the dental building that I just built.
So you're basically continue that.
We're draining into that. We're sheet draining into our existing retention pond. And it does not go back out into the ditch.
Okay. And somebody did a calculation to determine that you can.
It's huge. I mean, and it's never
Okay,
been filled
okay.
up. The water, this week, there was probably 2 feet of water and it'll probably handle 8 feet.
Okay.
And then it's showing there's one to the north also by Chafing.
No,
It shows some kind of
could be off of that.
It's a detention area.
detention area or.
Right. Right, because we can't bring the water from that parking lot all the way around front over to this one, so we're gonna sheet drain it back to that side.
Okay.
And I'm sure the elevations are on there and how deep we have to put it.
No, I don't think, but
Where's on the bottom?
is there?
Oh, no, those are this location.
But I know, I know you've done enough of these that,
Oh, this one.
I'm not sure what that is. That's for them coming onto that property,
Oh,
because the township has utilities running through.
they have that. Okay.
A utility.
It's an existing, that's existing.
We just mentioned Nathan, MDOT and said Becky's working with them.
Becky
The driveway,
Rivera, I
yeah.
sat down with one
Mhm.
existing,
Water retention, Bruce says they're gonna handle everything on
Yep.
site.
She had
Everything
the
else is
she had the
down in here.
calculations to the existing,
Distance already exists.
retention
Right.
between the
Yep.
dental.
That's the
office
one you were
and the
talking.
new facility will contain.
Okay.
It was wonderful, man. But yeah,
Mhm.
they're no, they have on site, they also have principal ditch, on, the French Road side, for overflow of the retention area. On the northern property line, as you'll see, there's an existing township easement of, water main bypass, between 23 North and French Road. I heard that, landscaping, and we will be working on that, and getting that finalized. Also just finalizing, utility, connections, with our municipal partner.
And then I took a ride on French Road and it looks like we could use some erosion control measures on that.
So we have stayed 20 feet away, and when we start to push the fill up in there, we'll put a silt fence along.
Okay, it doesn't look like anything's ever grown in there from, I guess, our last try, but,
Right.
and I don't know if we.
We are going to bring topsoil in there and seed it back in there and make a lawn on the French Road side.
Okay.
And then there will be a fence along the French Road side, because the division of commercial and residential. And then include, eastbound on the northern property line.
Not a berm?
I've got a nice one there right now if you want me to leave
I
it.
was gonna say, there's a couple of them.
Answer to that?
Well, green.
Anybody else have any,
No.
Kevin, you have anything to add there?
Nice addition to that complex.
Thank you.
So what is, do we have to? Just
Your motion and then specify.
make a motion to approve the site plan? And then, I mean, he's gonna still have to do a permit, right? Okay. No, does that have to come, does that have to come to us or not?
But,
Does anything else have to come to the planning commission? No, okay,
no, this is permitted use, this is the site plan review.
okay, okay,
And I sat down with Becky Rivard, identified some deficiencies even before this meeting.
Okay, good, good.
And learn from the middle ground expansion, so.
Well, and it's nice when you hire somebody that knows what they're doing to, instead of just doing it on a napkin like some people do. And you know that when you make the municipality your enemy, that on your next, not that you're ever gonna do this, Skinners, but it's nice to have it's easy, just as easy to follow the rules as, yeah, yeah.
Good.
Okay, so
I make a motion to approve, the site plan on report 04/2023.
That's for
okay, do we need to add in there about the MDOT and retention and stuff like that, or are we good?
No, and not standards, in terms of water, stormwater runoff, from the hardened surface, the capacity of the existing,
So we don't need any
no, because it's not going to 23. The topography of lay of the land, so to speak, actually slopes back towards French, even at worst case scenario.
okay,
Um,
and the county has had their, whoever looks from the county.
There's no reason for the county to look.
Oh, there isn't, okay.
Principal egress on the county main roadway, of which was one of the deficiencies that were defined, and Mr. Dietz concluded that the existing egress off of French Road would be vacated to eliminate some of the concerns that the road commission had previously.
Okay. Okay, so Bill Lynn made the motion. Corey, second, okay, yeah, do a roll call, yes.
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 Do we need to stamp that or not?
I think it's like kind of stamp, but
Come on,
you can just stamp that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
On the plan sheet, Lynn, or on the,
I think so. It's got it left at maybe.
Are we done?
yes, we're basically done, yeah.
So it's got a-
Make a motion.
or this-
We got a little discussion on some, a couple more items, but we're good,
Okay.
yeah. They gotta watch their baseball, stuff. Okay, on the site plan, Lynn, or on the,
Oh.
Windows in, Paula?
Haven't been out there.
okay,
I was,
I think it was.
well, we got busy, well, yeah, no, I haven't been there though.
Thanks for bringing it to our community. Thank you
I
for
got-
bringing your building to our community.
yeah.
Well, that's nice.
But probably this week we'll be back on Friday.
Friday
Friday we had a town meeting.
Okay, okay.
Third quarter to 5.
Oh, really?
Now we're down at my granddaughter's
Oh, okay. I was.
dedication, not a baptism. Dedication.
They bought a property.
So.
Good.
But-
My daughter had a baptism this weekend, so.
Oh, that's cool. So we'll be able to see you on the bulletin then.
That's what he said. He's like, this picture's for the bulletin. I'm like, we had to do it in front of the church, in front of everybody too. Hey, might as well, you know, at this point.
Mhm. No,
So.
we were down at. Good. I saw you too. With the non-denominational.
Yeah, he can have that one, and if you want to have this one.
Okay.
And he doesn't really have to sign it.
Oh, he doesn't have to?
It's
Okay.
not, doesn't
That's-
have their, well, just says what the, who the applicant.
You know what I'm saying? I do.
You already signed the application.
Okay, Bruce, thank you.
Oh, we get this one back right here.
Oh, we get that one. All right.
Yeah, yours is right there, that's your copy.
It's amazing, all the, Alpena Health around. I mean, they're
Well,
everywhere.
once this meeting's
They're,
concluded, we can,
Over.
said once this meeting's concluded, or do you want it for the record?
Yeah, yeah.
Tasky.
We, and when I was, before I got voted out, we allowed it at the high school.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I just, that's probably why, one of the reasons I got voted out, but that's okay. I want to provide healthcare if I can. All right, thanks, Bruce.
Good seeing you again, Bruce.
Thanks, Bruce.
Take care. And the windmill's still broke down there too.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's not going around.
Really?
Went by there today.
Okay, I guess the only thing else we had on here was this, Oscoda thing. Right?
Well, the Ascota thing is principally a zoning, that's a zoning board of appeals.
No,
right?
that's
Oh, that's
different.
separate. Okay.
Yeah.
But that being said, you as a liaison to the CPA now, if you want to attend that CPA training in Ascota as well, please let us know. So thus far, we have, Mr. Dean, Sue Skibby, that we're going in attendance, do the CPA training.
Okay, I have to, okay, I have to look that up. Okay.
It's just for principally for CPA, but as any training opportunity, they expand it, get numbers to mitigate costs. But yeah, moving forward, another thing, trainings, had a good conversation with Custom Holy. If there's trainings, we always send them out. And if there's any trainings that any, commission member wants to attend, that we don't circulate, please bring them to this commission, to be approved. That way we have a record within the minutes of training, and disbursement of payment. As well, as something to put on your, on your head.
Okay.
Moving forward. Typically, the majority of the opportunity in those training, asks are, we try to forecast back out, and we're all in the same similar listservs. So we usually will get it. So if there is something, if nothing else, if it's not approved at a planning commission for timing purposes, please get permission to meet. That way we can define who's going, typically try to figure out logistics, if it's in person or if it's online. So that would be my answer.
Okay.
Denise Klein is working on a survey for the master plan. We're looking at putting together that survey, to be, put within the tax disbursement. Right on our tax bill, a URL that's unique, to help with the master plan process. That was the last email that I got from, Ms. Klein, this afternoon.
Okay.
Is it the master plan or the rec plan?
Master.
Okay.
The rec plan is first, but that joint,
Yeah.
we're doing both concurrent, so.
Got
That's my PSA.
Okay.
Is there anybody that wants to attend this training? And if so, I mean, if you know, it's identified, but just let myself and anyone know who wants to attend that one as well, and Don, with consideration, if you don't have the CPA training one, I'll make sure, okay, you can live for it. So you should have that, so if you want, let us know, as soon as possible, so that we
Okay.
can make sure that, okay. Well, for anybody. But I will say, I'm extremely proud of this commission, for the efforts and the trainings that, everybody had put forward. This is the strongest planning commission, to date, as far as I'm concerned, so thank you very much for your service.
Do you think we covered most bases on that A and L?
I think you covered everything, I think, this meeting could probably conclude.
Okay.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're concluded.